Gator don't play no shit. You feel me?
Whether a Satan exists is a matter of belief, but we are certain that Satanism exists.
Welcome, everybody, to That Other Horror Podcast. 2 episodes in, we've already changed our name. We're doing great. I think we're going to stick with this one, though, because I've already made up a title card and everything for Podbean. So, well, I didn't make it. My wife made it. My wife does all the title cards and stuff. So, shout out to Jen. Thank you.
Thank you, Jen.
Thank you, Jen.
So, yeah, as mentioned, this is That Other Horror Podcast. I'm your host, Canadian Boy Ryan, and with me, as always, is your host, Nicole. Hi, Nicole.
Hi, Ryan.
And Killer
Tonight,
Clint.
I am Killer Clint.
How's it going, Killer Clint?
I'm doing just fine.
Clint's name, of course, is a hint to tonight's movie, which is 1986's Killer Party, directed by one William Fruitt. I looked at this guy's IMDb page. I don't know a single other thing he's done.
Fruit. I didn't see how that was spelled. Sounds like fruit.
It is, but there's put an E where the I was.
Gotcha.
Fruitt. It's French.
Fruitt.
Probably.
Fruitt.
It's Canadian.
Mhm.
This movie's Canadian as fuck.
Oh my!
Is it really?
Oh, yeah. I was
Okay.
watching it. I'm like,
even know
is
that.
this a Canadian-made horror movie? And sure enough, yeah.
I should have known that. It was my pick. I should have known.
That's
But
fantastic.
before we get into the movie, as always, we like to kick our feet up. Right? Is that it right
Kick
this
back,
time?
put our feet up.
Jesus
back with our
fucking
feet up.
Christ. Keep
Yep.
back with our feet up. I'm going to get it right one of these days. I never get to do that. So see, that's why.
That's right.
We're just going to shoot the shit a bit and talk about our days, our lives, movies we've seen, all that fun stuff. And since I think Clint started us off last week, so Nicole, why don't you start us off?
Not a lot going on, honestly. Thanksgiving is in a couple days, and tomorrow we take
Yeah.
Bella in to get her brace that she got fitted for last week. So hopefully this will solve her limpy leg. Went to the movies last week and saw Red One with The Rock and J.K. Simmons, and it was fantastic. It was funny. It was cute. It was J.K. Simmons. You know, for the farmer's insurance guy, he is ripped.
I knew that was coming.
He went to boot camp or something because Santa Claus is bulked up. But it was a fun movie. It's not just for kids. There was some grown-up humor in there too. So, yeah, I would recommend seeing it.
I'm happy to hear that, actually, because in all honesty, I saw the trailers and I'm like, that seems like the most forgettable piece of shit.
It wasn't. It was fun. It was fun. There was a lot of CGI, mainly because of one of the security guys was a giant polar bear named Garcia. But it was,
Of course.
it was fun. It was.
Excellent. Red One.
Red
I'm
One.
going to tell you, I will not make it to the theaters to see that, but I might check it out when it comes to streaming.
It'll probably be streaming soon since it's a Christmas
Same.
movie. So, yeah,
Quiet week for Nicole. Happy to
Yeah.
hear Doggo is getting the
she's
brace.
getting better. Yes. Yeah, I should specify that I was talking about the dog and not a human being.
Well, if anybody who's listened to last week's episode, we know
They
we've
know
been-
I have
we've
a
been
dog.
keeping up with Bella.
With Bella's injury.
Clint, what you been up to? What you been watching? What you been doing?
Well, mostly working and stuff. But my brother bought a house, And I've been spending some weekends over there making use of some of my otherwise useless electrical knowledge. So I have not been installing any switches upside down, been putting them
Fantastic.
all in upside right, and putting some lighting in his house. And I'm going to help him with some, I guess, putting in a dishwasher soon. I just went and picked one up tonight off Facebook Marketplace. So there is that. Been watching a few movies lately. The ones that are mostly of note. Recently, I watched Strange Darling. I don't know if you've seen that or not, but I watched it, and I have to say that almost immediately I was put in mind of a format that was similar to Pulp Fiction. So if you're familiar with that, it's choppy, it's out of sequence. You don't get the whole picture until you get to the very end of it. It does come together nicely. I think that it has a nice reveal to it. I loved it. I thought it was great. It's got some lukewarm reviews from some other people that I know, but for the most part, I thought it was fantastic. So if you haven't seen it, I totally recommend it. And just for fun, on the recommendation of Nicole, I recently watched Step Brothers for the first time. and I know it's like, what the fuck, you didn't see Step Brothers? Like, no, I didn't see Step Brothers. And
Oh.
I'll explain. I'm one of those guys where a little bit of Will Ferrell goes a really long way. So I missed it kind of on purpose. But now, some years have passed and I've gone back and I'm like, you know what? That's a pretty funny fucking movie. So I got that one on my belt now. So I understand the references now.
Stay golden, pony boy.
Stay golden, pony boy.
I think this is Step Brothers. The only line I remember from that movie is when he is having a fantasy about being a lumberjack. And he kicks open the door and he's like, I've traveled 900 miles to put my seed in you.
Yeah.
The only thing, if you asked me anything else about that movie, I wouldn't be able to tell you.
I could probably recite it. Jesus. It never gets old. It never gets old.
The boats and hose video, it's so great.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Oh, well, get on that right away.
Yes.
Holy shit.
Right,
We need to
Rewatch
talk about
Step
this
Brothers. Yes.
I mean, clearly I loved it so much the first time. So
thing. Yeah.
It's one of the most quotable movies ever. It's in probably my top 5 comedies of all time.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's fair. I was going to say that seems a little ridiculous, but no, I think a lot of people do have fond memories of Step Brothers
Yes.
as a movie. I think.
Sorry.
Uh,
Just
So
Mary
just-
Steenburgen just standing there with a garden hose going, what the fucking fuck? Today
Oh,
I
yeah.
saw my own son use a bicycle as a weapon.
forgot Mary Steenburgen was in that.
Oh god, the whole
Fucking
cast
Catalina
was it.
wine mixer.
Mary
Adam-
Steenburgen, that's the slutty grocery lady from Gilbert Grape, right?
Yes.
She keeps coming back into my life.
Yep.
There you go.
So just a back step there, before the Step Brothers talk, you mentioned a dishwasher.
Yes,
So you've installed a dishwasher before, right?
I have.
Okay. That's for some you made it. I installed my first one not too long ago.
Okay.
A lot easier than I thought it would be.
Mm-hmm.
But I was convinced. My mom wanted to send my stepdad over to help me install it, and I said, "No, Mom, I got this. Like, you hook the lines up." And she's like, "But you know how to turn the water off?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you just turn the valve to the off position."
That's
She
right.
kept like going over the list of things with me. I'm like, "Okay." She's like, "Maybe I'll just get your stepdad to come." I'm like, "Mom, I can handle this. I'm a 40-year-old man."
Yeah.
She's like, "But have you ever done it before?" I'm like, "Well, no, but there's got to be a first time for everything."
That's right.
Anyway, On the off chance my mom's listening, I just wanted to let her know. First shot, installed it properly. Water did not get everywhere. Fucking nailed it.
Awesome.
When in doubt, there's a YouTube video.
She does know that because she literally followed up with me the next day.
Yeah.
And that is how I found out how to install it, by the way. I was watching a YouTube video.
Yeah. And for the record, there is a dishwasher in my brother's house, but the former occupants of the house, I guess at one point decided to paint the cabinets. And I'm guessing they must have slopped paint on the dishwasher and then just decided to paint the dishwasher.
Oh, I'm sure that turned out great.
That's weird.
Like over the buttons and everything. You can't even read what the buttons say.
Sounds like a landlord at a slum at a slum house.
Uh-huh.
So mom's
don't
like,
need
you know
these
what?
outlets."
I'll just get a dishwasher from somebody.
Oh my god. Painted over the buttons. That's a whole different.
Oh yeah,
That's like a peak level of no fucks left to give.
Yeah.
that's right. That's right.
I want that kind of relaxation in my life.
do.
I'm gonna be that
I'm not
person that
giving
doesn't
You're like, oh, I got some paint on. Fuck it.
plug it.
And you also mentioned your upside down. That is a reference, by the way, to the way back. The upside down light switch is a reference to our Amityville 4 episode.
That's right. The
But it
evil
reminded
escapes.
the evil escapes. It reminds me. I got to take a video of it sometime and show you because my hallway has the most fucked up light switch situation. This house was built like 60 years ago. I don't even know.
It's my
but-
bread and butter.
To turn on my hallway light, there are 2 light switches.
Mm-hmm.
One has to be turned down, and then the other one has to be turned down as well. If the one on the right is turned up, the left one turning down will do nothing. It will not turn on the light. The one on the right has to be in the down position for the one on the left to do anything. The left one doesn't seem to affect the right one.
Okay.
But other than this one light, I don't know what the fuck they even do. But they both have to be in the down position to turn on this one hallway light.
Okay.
How
probably-
does that even happen?
I can probably help you with that. Sounds to me like you have a light that's controlled by 2 switches.
Yes.
And that's what we refer to as a 3-way circuit. So somebody probably switched up the hot in one of the travelers so that it is possible in the scenario. The way it's supposed to work is no matter where you are, if you're at one end or the other, you flip the switch in one direction, the light either goes on or off. And it's supposed to do that either place.
That would be handy, because if I'm at one end of the hall. Now, here's the other thing, Clint. They are about 4 feet apart from each other.
Okay.
So, where does that? That doesn't help. I'm at the one end of the hall. I can't do fuck all with that light.
You're like, what the fuck? It's doing nothing.
Yeah. So no, there is no. If I'm at one end of the hall, it's better off for me. They are literally within an arm's reach apart from each other, and my hallway's long. Like this is a bungalow, so you pass like 3 bedrooms.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
So where I don't know.
Somebody probably wired it wrong years ago, and it's never been corrected.
That would not be a surprise.
It would literally be the matter of you pulling the switch out and switching 2 positions of the wires.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. I'll just keep I'll just keep that kind of. I'll just keep the fuckery. We don't even use it anyway because there's another light at the other end of the hall that we use to light up what we need.
You
to
have a little post-it note on it that says, "Do not flip the switch."
Yeah, don't flip the switch. And we got all the light we need in the hallway from the great room because it's an open concept. So I don't know.
I love it.
You watching anything else? Doing anything else? Sorry, every story you had was like that reminds me of my fucked up house.
No, I'm good. That's those are the highlights.
Okay. So I'm going to start off on a little rant. I was, I don't know if you were part of this. I was doing a watch along with some friends, and the topic of man caves came up, and there was a lot of hate towards the man cave, and I was confused. Now I have a man cave. I'm in my man cave right now.
Mhm.
I also found out apparently that the female equivalent of a man cave is called a she shed, which I
I've
thought
heard
was
of it.
cute. But I mean, I don't know why do the women got to go outside to the shed to enjoy themselves?
Exactly.
Is it just to get away from the house? I mean,
Probably.
I can see that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like what I got from a lot of people was, oh well, my living room is my man cave.
Mhm.
But that's not really a man cave in my opinion. Like my living room is normal, like quote unquote. Like
Mhm.
it's the societal norm, I guess. Like it's nice,
Yeah.
it's kept
It's a
up.
it's a
Doesn't have
communal
nerd.
space.
Yeah, it doesn't have nerd shit all over the walls.
Yeah.
And I guess that's great if you're the kind of person that does have nerd shit all over the walls. I'm not trashing people who have nerd shit on their walls, but I feel that's something that still separates a man cave more. Like everything in here is kind of, this is just me. This isn't me and my partner's space. This is
Yeah.
my space. These are my knickknacks, the things that bring me joy, have brought me joy since I was a kid.
Mhm.
And she has yet to finish making her she shed, which is not outside, by the way. It's another room in the house. But she has her own space as well, where she can do her crafty stuff and all that jazz. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't think it's unhealthy for a couple to each have their own space.
I think it's more healthy for a couple to each have their own space.
For
Like
sure.
some couples take separate vacations, just to if you're
I
with the
don't
same
I
person
don't know any
all the
couples that do
time.
that.
But it's a theory. I have not tested it out.
I've taken every
But-
vacation on my own. You'll notice when I meet up with you guys, I'm missing a wife.
It's true.
Even though we tell you
True.
to bring her.
To be fair,
Um,
yes, we have invited her along. She just
Yeah.
hasn't.
Yes.
We're still not sure she really exists.
I don't think
That's
she does.
Fair,
I
actually.
think she's AI or something.
Huh? How about that?
Or maybe he went old school and just took a blow up doll, glued a face on it.
Jesus Christ!
Um,
I'm gonna tell her you said that.
I know Jen exists. I have talked to her through Messenger. She exists. I don't even remember what we were talking about.
Oh, you're saying it
Oh.
is healthy for couples too?
I
Yeah.
think it is. Yeah, that way you can just get away from each other for a little while. If you're with the same person 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, you're going to want to kill each other.
Hmm? I mean, yeah, sure. For the first 6 months, it's great, but yeah, eventually, you
Yeah,
guys just do your own-
exactly. First 6 months, honeymoon. After that, fuck it.
6 months, 6 hours.
Jesus Christ! Clint.
And you are married?
I am, strangely enough.
So we are very much in the boat. Yeah, pro man cave here. I don't think. Yeah.
Oh,
I agree.
100%.
I think
See, I was
everybody's
thinking it was going to get started that it was like a maybe like a it's an old school sexist term or something like the
No.
whole man cave thing.
Yeah.
But no, it was all like,
Fuck
why would you have a cave or your own separate area? I'm like, why
Yeah,
wouldn't I have my own separate area?
I think it's
Exactly.
just a new term, because like even back in the day, guys were like, I'm going out to the garage or I'm going to
Yeah.
the basement. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That was their space. That was the place where nobody else went. So they
Yeah.
just went there to get some quiet time.
Well,
Yeah,
there
they
you
had
go.
their radio, they had their bench, they had their beers.
That's right. They had their nudie calendar up
I
on the
was
wall.
going to say
you
the
know what I
nudie
mean?
calendar.
Yep.
That's right.
The
Play with their
dartboard.
power tools and scratch
Yeah.
themselves and,
So,
whatever they needed to do.
Yeah.
Hank
yeah,
Hill had the
exactly.
fence.
Yeah. Have their little fridge with the beers in it and all that.
Exactly.
Okay. So yeah, that was my little side tangent.
Mhm.
But yeah, what have I been doing? What have I been watching? Not doing a whole lot. Work. I did manage to watch Smile 2.
Ah. I liked it. I think you had a different reaction to it.
Yeah.
I didn't like it.
I don't know.
I'm so fucking sick of this whole trauma. It was trauma all along. Like some fucking Scooby-Doo reveal. To be fair, this one doesn't do a Scooby-Doo reveal right from the get-go. This movie is just like trauma.
True.
I did like the spin on the whole, the grueling, like, so how much weight is put on these young girls to be these starlets.
Yeah.
But all I was thinking, again, back to last week's episode where I said I watched a shit ton of South Park. All I was thinking of was that South Park episode where the boys try to save Britney Spears and she winds up losing her head because she kills herself halfway through the episode. And then but she's still alive. And they're just taking around this head that's like just got the bottom jaw and a tongue waggling around for like the last 10 minutes of the episode.
Wow.
I mean, that's kind of basically Smile 2 in a nutshell. Yeah, no, I don't like feeling bummed out after I'm done watching a movie. There was some times I laughed. I don't think I was supposed to.
I laughed a couple
did
of
too.
times
Yeah.
for sure.
But were you supposed to?
No,
Like,
I don't think I was.
you can only hold on a smiling person for so long before it stops being creepy and it starts being a little silly.
Mm-hmm.
The closet scene fucking traumatized me. I can't get that out of my head. That genuinely scared me.
Closet scene?
Where they're all like piled on top of each other and then they come down the hallway.
Oh yeah, that scared the shit out of me.
That was horrifying.
Clint's laughing at that.
I
part.
laughed at that one.
No, that one got me. I was like, okay, I don't like that. That can go away.
Okay.
Lots of jump scares. I jumped a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was creepy when they were coming down the hallway. But when they piled on top of each other like the cheerleader pyramid, you know what I mean? At
Oh,
the
yeah.
football game, I was like, okay, that's funny.
Go Buffalo. Oh, and Nicole, you were absolutely right. You had mentioned this a while back when you had seen it in theaters. How I can't remember the name of the actor, but he's Jack Nicholson's son.
Jack Nicholson's son, yeah.
When he smiles, how much he looks like his dad.
He is. Oh my God. Yeah. Like
And
Jack Nicholson 60 years ago. Like,
and I was watching this with Jen and with Alex, and Alex, who's 13, by the way. And I said, "Oh my God." And Jen's like, "What?" I'm like, "Well, there's no question whose son that is."
yeah.
And Jen's like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "The guy smiling." And she's like, "Who is it?" And Alex, again, 13, she's like, "Oh, his dad's the guy from that horror movie about the hotel." You mean The Shining? And she's like, "Yeah, it's that guy's kid, isn't it?"
I thought you were going to say Batman. I thought you were going to say that he thought.
No,
the Joker from
because
Batman.
I no, she has seen The Shining. And yeah, she picked up on it right away. She was like, "Yeah,
Awesome.
that's
Awesome.
that guy's kid." And yeah, there's no denying it. Surprised he's not in more movies. You think the nepotism would be strong with Nicholson?
Yeah. No.
Yeah. Maybe he doesn't have a strong work ethic.
Yeah. Doesn't need to. He's Jack Nicholson's son. He can do whatever the fuck he
Exactly.
wants.
That's right.
But if there's one thing to be said about Smile 2, Naomi Scott did an amazing job. She really is a good actress.
Oh yeah, she's phenomenal.
She's fantastic.
She needs to be in more stuff.
Yeah.
The fact that she hasn't been in more stuff, everything I've seen her in, I didn't like the Aladdin live action was fine, but she was good in it.
I didn't. This is the first thing I think I've seen her in.
Oh, she played Kimberly, the Pink Power Ranger in that Power Rangers movie from like 7 years ago.
No, never saw that.
Oh, actually really good. Although for a movie called Power Rangers, there ain't a whole lot of Power Ranger in. It's good though. But yeah, she's phenomenal in this.
Yes.
I am on call tonight. I am not drinking. I have, however, just indulged in a rock star, so I'm gonna be talking real fast all night. All right. So, anything else before we jump right into this movie?
No, I'm ready to go.
Okay. So, as I mentioned, this is Killer Party from 1986. Nicole, this was your pick.
Yes, it was.
And I was really surprised about this. Can you please tell us why you picked this? I don't mean that in a derogatory way either. I'm genuinely curious.
Because I didn't want to do anything too mainstream and I didn't want to do anything too modern. I'm Gen X. I'm a child of the 80s. I grew up with movies like this. And this one always stuck with me somehow, you know. I still have the VHS.
Nice.
I know. It was funny. It was scary. It just, to me, it had everything. You know, it had the ghostly thing, it had the possession thing, the college pulling pranks on each other, obligatory boob scenes. Uh, I love this movie. This movie was just the definition of the 80s. You know.
That's a good descriptor of it, yeah, because the whole time I was watching, I was like, this movie is 80s as fuck.
Yeah. Yep. The big hair and the
Definitely.
clothes and yeah.
Clint, was this a first time watch for you?
This was a first time watch for me. And I don't mind saying that I was really confused by the opening of this movie. It was bonkers.
Openings.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like I couldn't figure out what this movie was about, and I realized that like the opening of it was like, a movie within a music video within a movie. So like, it looked cool. I mean, the very opening scene was basically some people watching a movie at a drive-in, which turned into a music video. With I couldn't figure it out. It was almost like a film student like final project or something like that, or maybe he had some sponsors to his movie and he had to like fulfill some obligations. Like, hey, you got to get my 45-year-old son's band in here or film a music video or something. He was like, I got to put all this in the same thing so I can fulfill all my obligations. So like it's really like I couldn't figure it out. It felt so like jumbled and confusing, and then suddenly we go into a movie and really it was just somebody watching this shit on a television opening up into a scene in a sorority or something.
Mm-hmm.
So like the opening was crazy, but it was entertaining. I just don't know why it was there.
I liked it. I actually really loved
Yeah.
it. I'm not really going to say how I felt about Killer Party, the movie. I will say out of the 3 potential movies we could have had, the actual movie was probably my least favorite out of the 3.
Oh my
Oh, come on.
I knew you were gonna
Oh, come on. The first, I'm like, okay, so is this like a zombie thing taking place at a drive-in? Like, is it going to be like a zombie? I went in completely blind. This was the first time watch for me too, and I'm like, wait, so we're talking about a mid-80s, schlocky horror flick that I haven't seen. So I went in blind. I'm like, I don't want to know a damn thing about this. So I was legitimately shocked by these 2 random cold opens. I thought both of them were the movie. And I was laughing hard when that one woman got pulled into the fucking coffin.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm loving the sense of humor. This is great. I love how the priest, after he's done, he starts leaving and the family's just sitting there. The priest leads in. He's like, we're all done now.
Yeah.
I love how he
All right,
plays the Wizard
that's
of Oz.
it.
Yeah, that's it. And then there was some genuine tension in that second scene where she goes into the concession booth and there's nobody there. And I was like, okay, like this is good. Is it a slasher flick? And then we start getting the zombies, and I'm like, what the fuck is even happening right now?
Yeah.
They're like, how are they going to explain this? I'm like, oh, it's the music video.
Yeah. I was proud of her
that's
for taking the popcorn. I would have taken it too.
Oh yeah, I would have 110%.
Oh yeah.
Because like that was 1986. That popcorn would have been all like 75 cents.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the actual movie we got is, like Nicole mentioned, it's a little bit of everything. It's a demonic possession. It's a TNA flick. It kind of feels like it has a bit of that Porky's or Meatballs vibes to it, right? Where like the female nudity is cheeky and fun, but kind of borderline. They could be arrested for this kind of.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. The whole
Yeah.
thing is one big assault charge.
Oh, yeah, especially when they show the video during the presentation.
Yeah, they for sure committed a crime at that moment.
Like none of those women even wanted to be recorded, let alone be shown to like the dean of admissions.
Mhm.
Yeah, when they set that thing up, it's like it was not a very elaborate prank, and it seemed kind of hokey and stupid. You know, you got some guy pretending to be a delivery person, shows up to drop off a package, somehow like removes a doorknob with no tools whatsoever, you know, and locks the door. And you got some guys throw some bees in a jar over the fence, and like, and when they start getting like stung up by bees, which is crazy in itself, and like running around like nude with towels barely holding on, and like having gratuitous flashes in front of the screen. There's a dude back there with a video camera that I swear looks like a 16 millimeter, you know, and I'm like, he had to develop that when he was done. And I'm like, didn't he commit a crime when he developed that?
Yeah.
Those
Just
bees wouldn't
curious.
have given two shits about those girls. Like,
Oh, no, they don't give a shit.
what was their like den mother? What was her name? Mrs.
Oh,
Alden or something?
Oh, I
I
forgot.
can't remember her name, but she's
can't
like she's like the sorority mom.
yeah, like the house mom.
And it's her last day or something. She's retiring. They're gonna get a new house
Mhm.
mom. She was great. I loved her for the like
I
3
bet.
minutes she was in. I was really bummed that she was the first one to go.
Yeah.
Oh,
I found her death very strange.
she got beat with a paddle.
Yeah, but she went into a condemned like fraternity house and like started playing carpenter for 5 minutes. I don't understand what the fuck she was doing. Like going into this place that wasn't open anymore and getting nails and like trying to put the stairs back together, and then someone comes in and kills her. I mean,
It was
She
so we
knew
could
they
get
were
the
going to throw the party
backstory.
there.
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah. So she
So we
was
get
trying
the,
to fix it up so nobody could get hurt.
what was the name of the tomb? Andy? The backstory for Andy, I think it was.
Yeah, he was a fraternity prank gone wrong, and he
Gone
died in
wrong.
the
Yeah.
house. Yeah.
And for some reason he got buried at the fraternity house.
Yeah, headstone,
As you do.
backyard. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure,
as one does.
I'm pretty sure when you die in college, you stay in college.
Yeah.
I mean,
Cursed to forever pay tuition.
and I swear I watched this movie, but at any point did they really explain that?
No.
Because
She
we got
does.
no theatrical recreation of the events that they reference throughout the movie. It's just
No,
something
she
that we
just,
accept as something that happened.
Yeah, she just kind of says it while she's looking over his tomb, like the den mother
Mhm.
says it, and she mumbled it. So I had to go back after the movie was over. I'm like, wait, so what the fuck happened? So I had to go back and go to that scene, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, because I'm like, I knew it was Andy, but I
Right.
didn't know why Andy was so pissed. I'm like, it's because they broke his tombstone. But no, it was because he had died because of hazing gone wrong.
Hmm.
And that's the whole thing. Like these girls are hazing each other. So it brings back the spirit of Andy.
I
Yeah,
got you.
because she said when she was talking to the grave, she was like, it's time to forgive and forget, and it
Mhm.
happened a long time ago, and the girls are going to have their goat night here. Goat night.
Goat night.
Aw.
In 2024, Sorority Babes Goat Night is a completely different
Oh yeah,
movie.
that's a whole nother
I'm
definition.
sure it is.
So yeah, we get Andy. So this movie is a possession movie.
Mhm.
And it's established that Andy is slowly possessing one of the girls in our main trio.
Mhm.
Which
Veronica.
I love. I do love the main trio, these three girls.
Yeah.
I love all their characters. I think it is Zazzy is the blonde one with the glasses. I think her name's Zazzy.
Oh my God.
remember.
Vivia.
Vivia. Thank you.
Vivia. Okay. And then there was Phoebe, who was the dark haired one.
Yeah. The one that I said
remember
looks like
that.
Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah.
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 Vivia was my favorite. I loved
Yeah.
that she was like this quiet, nerdy girl that was just like insatiably horny for Martin.
Yes.
The creepiest character ever.
Yeah. The biggest stalker of the movie.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what I don't get. Like, so cut back to the den mother dying.
Hmm.
Who killed the den mother?
Andy.
But Andy hadn't taken possession of anybody yet.
No.
So if Andy can just show up in a corporeal form
Mm-hmm.
and deal physical damage to people,
Mm-hmm.
why did Andy bother possessing someone?
I do not know. That's one of those things that they don't explain it, because he was also in the scuba costume. Remember?
So that wasn't her in the scuba costume.
No, that was Andy when he killed the bees with the.
Okay, so Andy just the fact that he even possesses someone seems like a hindrance
Yeah. When he could
because
just
now
do
he's
it
got a
himself.
physical form that can be damaged.
Yeah.
That's right. I do love the scuba outfit because it reminded me almost immediately of the intro theme to the OG Scooby Doo. Like, I don't know if you remember that well enough,
Oh
but
yeah,
Yep.
there was the underwater like scuba ghost in the theme of that, and
Mhm.
that was immediately what I thought about when I saw that. I laughed at that. Maybe I shouldn't have.
No, it makes sense to me. I didn't put two and two. You're absolutely right. That's exactly what it is. Yeah, okay, so he was a scuba diver. He killed a person
Mhm.
who just wanted to fix a banister. I do love later on in the movie too, they show that still hadn't gotten fixed. It was still broken. This this movie has a fantastic sense of humor to it.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. It's very tame. Like, it's got this gratuitous nudity. We see boobs, we see ass. I'm pretty sure we see bush.
Mhm.
The kills, there is nothing to the kills.
Yeah.
And it turns out there was supposed to be.
Right.
This movie actually had very violent kills. And this movie got just completely demolished by the MPAA,
Mhm.
where every kill is basically off screen. To the point where the promotional material showed these scenes of these gruesome kills, and it's never seen the light of day. This is one of those movies that I hope, like with with your Vinegar Syndrome and your Arrow and Scream Factories, someone needs to get a hold of this. I'm sure some guy has a copy of this that's got the original cut of the movie somewhere, and we can maybe see some of these kills put back in, because that's really, in my opinion, it's unfortunately a big thing when you're dealing with a splatter, like a slasher, supernatural slasher, I guess, but still a
Mhm.
slasher, is you want to see the kills. Like, there's a reason why people shit on Friday the 13th part 7 and 8 so much, and one of the reasons is because they're so fucking tame compared to
Yep.
the other ones.
Yeah. True.
We did see. Pretty sure we saw Dr. Zito, Dr. Z, when he got electrocuted.
Yes, but again, bloodless.
Yeah. Yeah, there was not a lot of blood or gore in this movie, and that's probably one of the only things I didn't like about it. I think they could have not made it a big splatter fest, but at least put something on screen. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is really unfortunate, because everything about this movie is like I said, the sense of humor, even the practical effects. Like when we get into like the full blown possession and stuff, and the house is like breaking down around them.
Yeah.
Poor Vivia. There's a scene where like a 4x4 from the ceiling hits her, and
Mhm.
I almost don't know if that was supposed to happen, because that thing really looked like it kicked the shit out of her, and she didn't look happy when it hit her.
No. And speaking of which, I think that was one of the more impressive practical effects of this movie was she did the guillotine prank, and
Mhm.
that cast head of hers was incredibly accurate. I mean, it of course, they actually had the actor in the guillotine thing to show that, but when they had it hit the ground and tumble, and it's like, holy crap, that looks really good. And when she held it up later in the box, I'm like, it was like her holding her own head next to herself. I mean, it really looked good.
Yeah.
That also didn't make a whole lot of sense. The pranks on the pranks.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Like how you had, so like you guys mentioned goats, the goat night. They have to eat the goat eyes. They have to baa like a goat, even though they sounded more like sheep.
Bah.
Yeah.
sheep go ba, goats go meh.
Yeah.
Like, didn't even get it right. But so Vivia plays this prank with the guillotine. And she explains later, like this whole elaborate setup involving like switches in the basement that had to be pulled.
Mhm.
But would that not get you kicked right out of the sorority? If you tried to play a prank on the people that were letting you in, the whole point is you let them haze you.
Yeah.
And I feel if you're removing that power from these, by the way, hazing, fuck hazing. I'm glad that went away.
Yeah.
But I feel these girls would have been kicked out before they even had the opportunity to get in with the amount of shit they pull
Yeah.
on these. And I mean, good for them. Like, don't take no shit from no one. But I feel if they really wanted to be in the sorority that much, they kind of went about it the wrong way. But what the fuck do I know? Because they got in.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I don't know. It seems like what you're saying is true. Like that would have been the thing that it would have been like, what the fuck? We're the ones supposed to be doing the hazing and fucking people up, and she fucked with us, But there was probably just that one sister who was like, you know what? That was pretty fucking good. We could use that.
Yeah.
And they kind of explained that a little bit later. Hey, that's the only reason you're here.
Yep.
We want you to pull that prank again.
which they did when they dragged Jennifer, right?
Jennifer.
Mm-hmm.
When Jennifer gets dragged into the basement.
Right.
How did they pull that off again? Like just a zip line or
Something like that. Yeah. I mean, she complained about not being able to have padding when she got drug across the floor.
Yeah.
And then she was like, how'd you do the voice? I didn't do any voice. Yeah.
Which brings us to the possession part when Jennifer gets fully possessed.
Mm-hmm.
I love when she has the tongue waggling out.
The
the
hair.
gray eyes. Yeah. She's just crawling on the ceiling.
Like,
crawling
yeah,
on the roof.
it's supposed to look like she's upside down, but you can see it's just hairspray to make it look like it's hanging. Yeah,
It's fantastic.
it is.
Yeah. There was a part of me that was a little bit disappointed that this actually became a possession movie. Because I've seen so many 80s movies that kind of played out like this, where it was always like some forgotten character from some time gone by who had something terrible happen to them, and they just like snuck around behind the scenes and just decided to murder a whole bunch of people, and then they revealed that at the end. So maybe it was just exposure to other movies and nostalgia for those that maybe want that. And I was like, what the fuck? It's a possession movie?
See, I liked that it was a possession movie.
I accepted it by the end of the movie, and I was like, okay, I'm good with it. But like for like a few minutes, I was like, why? Why did they do this?
And they could have had a sequel. They left it open,
But if you want what you were asking for, Clint, I mean, it's not like there's any shortage of those. You go watch your prom night. You go watch your I'm having Terror Train. You can go watch Friday the 13th
Part 2. Yeah,
exactly.
Part 1, Part 2.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them. So
Slaughter High, Splatter University.
Yeah, and that's why inside of like 5 minutes I changed my mind on it, because I was like, well, you know what? At least they had the balls to do something different. You know what I mean? Yeah. Whereas so many other movies went the way I just talked about.
The only other movie I can think of that pulls this is I'm mentioning Prom Night, is Hello Mary Lou. Prom Night 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love that movie.
That movie's really good.
I feel like the bee prank got a lot of mileage in this. Like, it kept coming up. Like like from the moment that it showed up, I felt like it was a really lame prank. You know what I mean? And I was like, okay, well, that was the thing that the writers decided on in order to have a reason to show a bunch of boobs on screen. And I was like, okay, that's fine. We'll move on with this and we'll get to the real story. They kept bringing up the prank throughout the movie. Like, even when they went to the party, they had like, they had that Virgil guy, who in my mind looks a lot like, a douchier version of Shelley from Friday the 13th Part 3. And in the getup that he was wearing to make the fake delivery, And he had two of his brothers there dressed up like bees.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Oh yeah, they were really proud of that fucking prank.
yeah. And I was like, really? We're coming back to the stupid ass prank again? It wasn't even that good. And I was like, holy shit, they're really milking this. Like I feel like they wrote the movie around the prank. But other than that, I just wanted to note that at the end of the movie, like it felt very rushed. Like all these people died, and then the cops show up, and the crime scene is getting cleaned up before they even have the victims off the scene. Like they're dragging out the dead bodies like garbage bags. Like all these cops are like, fuck, my shift's over in 20 minutes. I need to get a beer. Get these fucking bitches out of here. Like, I gotta go. And it's like, and then like they stuff them in an ambulance and ship them off to the hospital with no police escort. It's like they didn't even fucking investigate. They're like, clean this shit up, get them out of here.
Yep.
Oh yeah, because the movie ends with Vivia screaming, "Don't put me in the ambulance."
Yep.
You literally had to grab this woman who was going at Vivia and pull her away, and you're just gonna stick the ambulance together.
Put them in together. Fuck it.
Like,
Either one of them could have been the killer. Let's just throw them in there. Yeah.
I know she technically wasn't the killer. It was Jennifer. But they don't know that. All they see is Jennifer, who's been stabbed in the tit with a giant pole. And this other girl just like friggin' like just shuffle walking over to like clearly that is the person of interest. Now, as far as the rush job at the end though, like the kills were supposed to be spread out more throughout the movie.
Mhm.
But when they kept coming back with an X rating and an X rating, the director apparently got so frustrated, he literally just like compacted all the kills right into the back end. Because he's like, what's the fucking point? Because we're not going to get the money shots. So that's why, like, and I mentioned this to Jem while I was watching. I'm like, it has been like 45 minutes, and the only person we've seen die is the den mother at the beginning of the movie. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? And then all of a sudden, it just was like kill, 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 kill. Boom, movie's over. I'm like, whoa. And I looked it up, and yeah, apparently those were supposed to be spread out more, and they were like, fuck it, there's no point. So they just threw it all in the back end.
Yeah. This movie was clearly done a disservice. I think if some of that stuff had been left in and it had been edited a little bit more like the director wanted, I think we would have had like a more enjoyable film. I mean, it wasn't bad by any means. I enjoyed it a lot when I watched it, but yeah, like I really feel like it suffered by some of the cuts that it was given. And I also found out that they shot this thing in 1984. And it got shelved until 1986. And then finally they're just like, yeah, we got this movie. Let's put it out.
Yeah. No, I think if we had gotten the movie the way the director wanted it and with the kills intact, I think this is a movie that easily would be talked about alongside stuff like Prom Night and again, Terror Train. Jamie Lee Curtis was in a lot of these fucking movies.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, it's probably why this movie got slept on and largely missed.
Because Jamie Lee Curtis wasn't in it.
Because Jamie Lee Curtis wasn't in it. Because it's
that
a slasher.
And a hack editing job that was done on it.
It's a slasher with no kills.
Right.
Like it's got kills, yeah, but I mean, there's blink and you wouldn't know it.
They're almost all off screen.
Yeah. Which is a huge disservice to the movie because everything else about this movie, even the stuff that nowadays would get you canceled, it's that right kind of 80s where it's just like, okay, and I hate to say it because I feel like a douche for saying it, but it was the times. So like you gotta roll with it. Either you just don't watch these movies at all, or you accept the fact that if you watch an 80s movie, it's going to have some really sleazy, sketchy stuff in it.
Yeah.
Because nobody seems to forget about, like, nobody stops watching Friday the 13th and Prom Night and all these other ones. So I can't hold that against this movie.
Right.
Yeah.
The humor's fantastic.
Yeah.
This movie has a great sense of humor.
Yes, it does.
But yeah, I don't have a lot of other stuff to say about it. Nicole, do you have anything else you want to add to it?
I love it. I love it. I love the haunted house possession. I mean, that is my kind of movie, you know. And I didn't mind too much that the kills were off screen. I think we could have seen a little more, definitely, but you don't need a whole lot of blood to make a good movie. I mean, look at Halloween. There's no blood in Halloween, the original Halloween, you know.
Right.
Um, but yeah, I would recommend it if you haven't seen it and you can find a copy. It is tough to find because it was never released on DVD, I don't believe.
It
Um,
looks like there's a Blu-ray floating around of it.
is there?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to get a hold of that. But yeah, I would if you're a fan of 80s horror, definitely, definitely see it.
All right. Sounds like we're ready to hop into the rating space then. Nicole, this was your pick, so you go first.
I am not doing my standard rating for this. I am just doing what you do and rate how I feel. I grew up with this movie. It's one of my all-time favorites. Aside from not a whole lot of gore, no kills on screen, and them running the bee prank a little too long. I give it an 8 out of 10.
Nice.
8 out of 10.
8 out of 10. Yeah.
Clint, you want to go next? Or you want me to go?
I can go. As much as I picked on this movie, it was good 80s cheesy fun, and I did enjoy it. Even though there was a few things that I just kind of rolled my eyes at, or I thought was pretty cliche for the time period of the filmmaking. But it was an interesting movie, and I felt some good choices were made, and it looked good. Had cool soundtrack, stuff like that.
Mhm.
I felt like the casting was really good, even though I really didn't know anybody who was in this movie. Like, they found some good people to bring these characters to life. At one point, that Martin character, I thought for about 5 minutes, I was like, is that fucking Steve Vai? I mean, it looked just like him, and then later on in the film, like they put him in that long wig, and I was like, holy fuck, is that Steve Vai? And um
Adam
to the point where I actually looked it up, and I was like, no, that's not fucking Steve Vai. Just some other guy looks like him. Anyhow, so like I felt like there was a lot of good things about this. I did use my rating system I normally use. I gave it a 20 out of 30, which gives me a 66%, or a 6.6 out of 10.
Okay. Solid. So Martin, by the way, you mentioned, yeah, who the fuck is that? I only know him from another movie, and he played he was in Ghoulies.
Mm-hmm.
Get the
Plays
fuck,
Look at it.
plays Mark,
get the
plays
fuck
Toad
out
Boy.
of here. All right.
That's the only he's I'm looking at his IMDb right now. Like, he's been in a lot of stuff, but apparently he was Rain Man, Lenny and Rain Man. I don't know who that is, but yeah, no, it's Ghoulies is what I know him from, because I'm like, I know that face.
Yeah.
So yeah, I surprisingly enjoyed this a lot. I am a love it or leave it kind of guy with these 80s slashers. Surprisingly, like, I like me a Friday the 13th. As we all know, I'm not the biggest fan of, which technically is 70s, but I'm not the biggest fan of Halloween. It's fine. And I disagree about what Nicole said. It's not so much. I know Halloween's a bloodless movie, but there's a difference between the atmosphere of the way Michael kills people in Halloween versus this movie. Like, if Michael all of a sudden in the last 10 minutes of the movie, you see him like just drive up the street, slam the brakes on the car, run into the house, and just start stabbing everybody, and then roll credits, people will be like, what the fuck just happened?
That
Maybe
would be
you should
hilarious.
wear this-
though.
Start
this
stabbing
stupid
people,
instead of the women.
walks out of the bedroom, gives like, huh, and then Loomis just taps them.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 boom.
Slams on the
Audience
brakes,
doesn't even have time to breathe.
hops out of the car, starts running like Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
Stab
People would not be talking
6
about
people.
Halloween.
Yeah.
But And I do feel that's this movie's biggest detractor. It does. I know now, Nicole, you've got your nostalgia blinders on.
Yeah.
I do feel it actually hurts this movie a fair bit, which is unfortunate because it sounds like there is a version of this movie where those kills were a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Because as we saw with the fake head, they clearly had a knack for prosthetics.
Yeah.
I hope someday maybe we do get to see, because a lot of look at stuff like Tammy and the T-Rex. You think, you watch a fucking movie for 20 years assuming it's a kid's flick, and all of a sudden Scream Factory releases this R-rated cut of this movie that introduces a whole bunch of gore that was always there. It just never saw the light of day. So with something like this, maybe it could happen.
I would love that.
As it stands, everything else about this movie is a lot of fun. Even the stupid fucking bee prank that just won't stop. So I'm kind of with Clint. If the kills had been left in place, this would easily be like an 8 for me. But since you can tell the kills have been cut and the movie suffers because of that, in my opinion, I'm about a 6.5.
Okay.
Which, I mean, everything else about it I love, and this is definitely going to be on my rotation now. This to me is one of those, and I don't mean this in a bad way. This would be a great movie to just fall asleep to.
Yeah.
I have certain movies where I'm like, oh, I'm ready for bed, but I want to watch something that I enjoy and is just easy to watch.
Yeah,
It's a comfort movie.
Comfort, fall asleep to, and this is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's Pumpkinhead for me a lot of the times. I fall asleep watching Pumpkinhead more times than I can count. But yeah, that is, so we got 6.5, 6.58. So yeah, about a 7 overall, 7 out of 10. That's solid.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Jump into the final segment here where we play the game of Guess the Letterboxd ratings. So as before, we're going to go with 2 different guesses here. The first one, based on 3,260 ratings. What do y'all think is the Letterboxd score for this movie? Clint, you went first last time.
Okay.
And that wound up biting Nicole in the ass more than once. So Nicole, you get to go first this time.
And we're doing this out of 5 stars?
5 stars, and like I said, it could be like a 1.1 or a 1.2. It takes the total number and gives it a...
I'm gonna say 3.0.
3.0 for Nicole. Clint?
First of all, I'm surprised that many people reviewed this movie.
I was thinking the same thing.
Over 3,000 people submitted
All
reviews.
the movie.
Wow, that's pretty crazy. I'm going to go with a 2.8.
So one of you guys is right on the nose, and that's going to be Clint. This movie has a 2.8 out of 5 on Letterboxd. What percentage of those are 1-star ratings? Nicole?
I'm gonna say 30%.
30% at 1 star. Clint?
I'm going to say it's lower than that. I'm going to go with 12%.
Clint's going to take it again. This movie surprisingly only has 3% of its ratings are 1%.
Really?
Or 1
Wow.
star.
Oh, that's really low. All right.
No, the biggest ratings are there we go. So yeah, 649 of the ratings are 2.5 stars, and 952 of the ratings are 3 stars. So that's where that 2.8 is coming in. Those are the 2 biggest ones by far. And then you do have a few of the 2s and the 3.5. So yeah, that's why it's right there, that 2.8. Very few people gave this a 5-star rating. Very few gave it a 1 star. So it just seems to be, kind of right there in the middle for a lot of people.
The director and his family got in there, gave it 5-star
The
reviews.
extended family. Yeah, 2%. 49 people rated it 5 stars. So.
People like me who have, like Brian said, have my nostalgia blinders on.
That's right.
Sorry, I don't mean to make a joke.
All right. Well, that wraps up the second episode. Clint, did you have time to think about what movie you were going to do for the next week's episode?
I did. I
All right.
did. I don't know what prompted me to think it, but I think it was looking at this one, and it made me kind of nostalgic for another one. I would very much like to talk about The Mutilator. I don't think that one gets covered quite enough. Have you ever seen it?
I have seen The Mutilator.
I
Okay.
have not.
I guarantee we're going to have a good time. Good time reviewing The Mutilator. Fantastic. So yeah, next week is The Mutilator. I'm actually looking forward to that. Nicole, if you like 80s slashers,
I
this will
love
be right
them.
up your alley. What? You don't?
100%.
You said you don't?
I said I love them.
Oh, okay. I was
I
going
love
to say
80s.
this
I
was
love
very
80s.
much.
I love all the 80s horror.
Okay.
Definitely.
No,
Don't
yeah.
understand.
Actually, that's a good. We'll get into it next week. But yeah, this one would easily be as remembered as The Mutilator if the kills, I think, were up there.
Okay.
And it had a bitchin' theme song. All right. So just before we go, though, as always, we're just going to plug the other stuff we be doing. Nicole, you want to start us off with any plugs?
I would love to. I would like to plug a t-shirt company that I love called Cavity Colors. They have the most amazing designs, the most amazing artists, the most amazing colors. Their shirts are so incredibly vibrant. The camera does not even do this justice. How bright the greens and oranges are in this t-shirt. They do amazing stuff. They're very reasonably priced, fast shipping. They're just a great company. So if you are looking for any horror t-shirts, hoodies, bags, patches, all that stuff, head over to Cavity Colors.
Fantastic.
Wonderful.
They don't actually give us money, by the way. Nicole's genuinely thrilled.
I
about these guys.
genuinely, yes.
She buys their stuff and says it's great.
Yes.
Clint, what do you got?
Some changes have been happening lately. But I do like to plug all my previous work. I a couple of years ago was doing a podcast called The Amityville Horror, and that YouTube channel is still up. It has a lot of reviews, a lot of interviews that I'm really proud of. And if anybody gets a chance to check that out, please do. I did a few things over on the Scream It Till You Like It podcast. We have a YouTube channel that's still up with some really cool things that we did on there, including the Amityville retrospective, which I had been on a couple of times, which is a show of yours, Ryan. But I am starting a new YouTube show that I'm calling the Grease Stained Cinema. I'm going to be focusing on indie horror movies specifically, and hopefully doing some interviews and a whole bunch of reviews, because I got an entire wall behind me of physical media of independent films of local, and small, low budget filmmakers, and I would love to highlight those. So that is my plan moving forward. We're going to see some stuff on there, and hopefully this show will wind up there too. So go check that out. Grease Stained Cinema.
Fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And as always, I am 1/3 of the Hormonal Werewolves. When this episode comes out, we will have just released. We're a little late to the party, but we're doing a bit of a Tony Todd retrospective. RIP to one of the greats. And we are doing a double feature of Night of the Living Dead from 1990 and Candyman. So when this episode comes out, our Night of the Living Dead episode should have just released. So yeah, check out the Hormonal Werewolves. We got a YouTube page with all kinds of videos. As Clint mentioned, I also do the Amityville retrospective, which we'll be getting back up and running sooner than later, I would hope. I miss watching them shitty movies.
I know.
I'm just trying to get my head wrapped around how to edit this. Which, by the way, I edited the first episode. It took a hell of a lot less time than it usually does. But yeah, once I got figured out everything the way this works, we'll get back on some Amityville episodes. But do check out our most recent one over at Scream Until You Like It. And I think that was Toy Box, wasn't it?
Yes.
I think you're right.
Yes, we had special guest Laura Latour on that one.
Yes.
That was a fun one. That was a shitty fucking movie.
That was awful.
Worse than theater?
Oh yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Give it a watch, Clint.
But yeah, that
Okay.
wraps up that wraps up the second episode of That Other Horror Podcast. We know y'all listen to horror podcasts out there. We just appreciate that you listen to that other one. All right, still don't got an outro. Bye guys.
See ya.
Bye.